Super teams dominate modern sports. But are they killing competition or creating the ultimate basketball spectacle? This question has sparked debates among fans, analysts, and even players themselves. Super teams, by definition, concentrate multiple superstar talents on a single roster, often leading to predictable championship outcomes and lopsided playoff series. Some argue this concentration of talent reduces suspense in the league, undermining parity and leaving smaller market teams struggling to compete. On the other hand, super teams produce historic matchups, unforgettable highlight plays, and marquee rivalries that capture global attention. At stake is more than just wins and losses. It's about fan engagement, league competitiveness, and the integrity of historic rivalries. Do fans want to watch a league dominated by a single powerhouse? Or is the allure of watching LeBron, Durant, Curry, or Giannis team up too compelling to resist? This video dives into the debate, exploring whether leagues should intervene to prevent super teams from forming, or if their existence is simply a natural evolution of player empowerment and strategy in professional sports. A super team is typically defined as a roster stacked with multiple star players, often acquired through trades, free agency, or mutual player collaboration. These teams are designed to dominate the competition and contend for championships with concentrated talent. Rather than relying on balanced team building or draft development, the modern NBA has offered clear examples of this phenomenon. The 2010 to 2014 Miami Heat, featuring LeBron James, Dwyane Wade, and Chris Bosh, set a new precedent by combining three top-tier talents to reach 4 straight NBA Finals, winning 2 championships. Later, the 2017 to 2019 Golden State Warriors pushed the concept even further with their core of Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, creating a team widely considered one of the greatest of all time. More recently, the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, illustrate that super teams are a continuing trend, often shifting the balance of power in the league. The impact of these teams is undeniable. When a super team forms, they often dominate regular seasons, pressure rivals to rethink strategies, and force other teams into reactive roster moves just to stay competitive. The concept of super teams isn't entirely new, but the modern NBA era has amplified their frequency and visibility. Historically, dominant teams like the Boston Celtics of the 1960s relied on building around multiple Hall of Famers, such as Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, and John Havlicek. But these dynasties were largely the product of drafting and team development. In contrast, today's super teams are often built through strategic free agency moves, with players actively choosing to join forces to maximize championship potential. The rise of super teams has been fueled by the player empowerment era, where top athletes have more control over their careers and contract negotiations than ever before. LeBron James's decision to join the Miami Heat in 2010 exemplifies this shift, demonstrating that elite players could reshape the league by collaborating intentionally. The media and fans quickly took notice, framing these moves as either genius strategy or a threat to competitive integrity. The trend accelerated with the Golden State Warriors' 2017 acquisition of Kevin Durant, creating a team that many considered almost unbeatable. Ratings and fan interest spiked during their playoff runs. But critics argued that their dominance reduced suspense and made the league feel less balanced. Super teams have since become a recurring narrative in the NBA, with fans divided between those who celebrate the spectacle of star-studded lineups and those who lament the predictable championship outcomes they often produce. Critics of super teams argue that they undermine competitive balance and make leagues less exciting. When multiple superstar players cluster on a single roster, other teams, especially small market franchises, struggle to compete, leading to predictable playoff outcomes. For instance, during the Miami Heat's 2010 to 2014 run, or the Golden State Warriors' 2017 to 2019 dominance, their respective conferences often felt predetermined, reducing suspense and diminishing the anything-can-happen appeal of the playoffs. Fans watching teams repeatedly fall to star-laden lineups can feel disengaged, which threatens long-term league interest and parity. Another concern is fairness to smaller market teams and homegrown talent. While franchises like the Warriors or Lakers can attract multiple stars due to market size, revenue, and appeal, smaller teams often cannot compete financially or strategically. This creates an uneven playing field where championships are concentrated among a handful of franchises, potentially limiting opportunities for talented players on less glamorous teams. Finally, some argue that super teams dilute the traditional spirit of team building. Historically, dynasties were earned through drafting, scouting, and developing cohesion over time. Super teams, by contrast, rely heavily on pre-assembled talent, sometimes acquired through aggressive trades or free agency maneuvers. Critics claim this diminishes the challenge of creating a balanced team and risks turning the league into a talent playground, where championships depend more on player clustering than strategic ingenuity. While super teams draw criticism, many argue they are a natural and positive evolution of professional basketball. First and foremost, super teams respect player freedom and agency. In today's NBA, athletes like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Giannis Antetokounmpo have the right to choose where they play, and restricting the formation of super teams would interfere with these personal freedoms. Allowing players to collaborate and create star-studded lineups empowers them to maximize both success and marketability, reflecting the modern realities of professional sports. Super teams also represent strategic ingenuity and management skill. Building a successful roster with multiple superstar players requires careful negotiation, salary cap navigation, and tactical planning. Franchises that successfully assemble these teams are rewarded for foresight, vision, and risk-taking, just as teams that draft wisely or develop talent are rewarded. The formation of a super team is not just about star power. It's also a testament to the front office's ability to construct a cohesive, championship-contending roster. Finally, super teams provide unparalleled entertainment value. Matchups featuring multiple superstars generate global excitement, drive television ratings, and create historic moments for fans. The Warriors versus Cavaliers finals from 2015 to 2018 captivated millions worldwide, not simply because of one superstar, but because of the clash of talent at the highest level. While parity may suffer, these matchups elevate the spectacle of basketball, creating storylines and rivalries that define the sport for a generation. Super teams have had a profound impact on both the NBA landscape and the fan experience. On one hand, these star-laden rosters can drive unprecedented viewership and global interest. The Golden State Warriors' 2017 to 2019 run, featuring Curry, Durant, Thompson, and Green, drew millions of viewers worldwide, with finals games consistently breaking ratings. Records fans tuned in not just to see which team would win, but to witness historic matchups between some of the greatest players of the era competing on the same court. At the same time, super teams reshape rivalries and narratives. Iconic clashes such as Warriors versus Cavaliers or Lakers versus Celtics take on new meaning when multiple superstars are involved, creating storylines that extend beyond a single season. These matchups captivate both casual and hardcore fans, fueling debates, social media discussions, and intense anticipation leading into playoffs. However, super teams also affect competitive balance, and opinions among fans are divided. Some appreciate the spectacle and the thrill of seeing multiple stars collaborate, while others lament the predictability of championships, especially when smaller market teams struggle to compete. This tension defines modern NBA viewing. Super teams create both excitement and frustration, illustrating the double-edged nature of concentrated star power. So should super teams be banned? The answer isn't simple. On one hand, super teams can undermine league parity, making championships predictable and reducing opportunities for smaller market teams. Critics argue that this concentration of talent threatens fairness and can alienate fans who crave competitive balance and unpredictable playoff outcomes. On the other hand, super teams are a natural part of the player empowerment era, rewarding strategy, negotiation, and collaboration. They generate historic matchups, intense rivalries, and unforgettable moments that captivate fans globally. From LeBron and the Miami Heat to Durant and the Warriors, These teams create storylines that define a generation of basketball. Ultimately, super teams are both a blessing and a challenge for the NBA. So here's the question to you. Do super teams enhance the game with excitement and star power? Or do they harm competition and fairness? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you enjoyed the debate, and subscribe for more in-depth sports discussions. Whether you love them or hate them, one thing is clear. Super teams are reshaping basketball in ways that will spark debate for years to come.